You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and yes, fancy seeing you here. The degeneration of Doctor Who. So what does the word degeneration mean? Well, it's the opposite, obviously, to regeneration. Regeneration means something new, going forward. Degeneration means you're going backwards. And Doctor Who has been going backwards since Russell T Davies left the franchise. But what we've had this year is just, it looks new, it looks fresh, but in fact, it's not forward thinking, it's backwards thinking. When a studio, a network, whatever you want to call the BBC, the corporation, and that's the pet name for them, isn't it? Bring in a new showrunner, and both studio, network, and creative sack over 50% of their workforce and bring in a new workforce in, you have to say that's pretty disgusting. Now, I can tell you, people working on these shows don't earn enough money to say, oh, well, we'll just get another job. And why were these people sacked? They were all good at their jobs. They were sacked because they were the wrong colour, the wrong race. They didn't fit the criteria of the BBC. Because rather than keep their skilled workforce, they wanted to show that they employ different cultures and both of the genders. Maybe more women and more non-white people. This is important. This is an important issue because what they did very quickly is they started posting pictures of their workforce on social media. I remember them showing pictures of their writers, for example, and their directors, showing off the representation that season 11 would have. Now, that doesn't cut it with me because although representation matters, and it does matter, you can't go around sacking people just so you can start representing different cultures and both genders. As I say, more women than men. It's distasteful. It does leave a bad taste in the mouth. I'm constantly thinking about all those wonderful people who lost their jobs from no fault of their own. You can't do that. It's not right. The entertainment industry always try and lecture to us about morality and immorality, but these are some of the most immoral people in the world today. So my thoughts are with the people who lost their jobs, and more prominently Murray Gold, who definitely didn't move away from composing the score because he was burnt out. It's a good line, but I don't believe it. So that's part of the degeneration of Doctor Who. It's now a show with no ideas, with no direction. It's just there. I remember during this season some of the crazy expressions on Jodie Whittaker's face. It's interesting, actually. I just saw Get Santa, where she plays the mother of the kid in that film. It's a really good film, by the way. And you can just see how lack of character she has within her performances. There really is a lack of personality. It's not her fault. She's still a good enough actor, but she's nothing special. She's not one of the great actors in the history of the art. That's the thing. And what does it take to play the Doctor? Well, a good Doctor will have 50% acting ability and will put another 50% of personality and character into their own performance. So what happens is you'll hear, especially in New Who terms, you'll always hear the actor playing the Doctor being asked what was the thinking when him and the showrunner were putting together the character of the Doctor. Well, when Jodie Whittaker's asked that, she's going to have to lie, because I don't think there's any personality whatsoever in her Doctor. So yes, you've got to be a good actor, but this is where playing the Doctor is really different to playing other characters. You've got to put a bit of your own personality in it. And if you lack the personality, the je ne sais quoi, to play this character, it's very telling straight away. And every actor who's played the Doctor, apart from her, has put their own personality and stamp on the character. From Hartnell to everyone else, it's always been there. Even the Doctors I didn't particularly want to put their own characters and their own stamp on the character. Doctor Who is all about personality. The Doctor is all about personality. Without the actor putting their own personality within that character, the character doesn't work. And it's a case in point with Jodie Whittaker. And you've got to look at Chris Chibnall as a showrunner. He hasn't looked to put any personality or interesting character traits to this Doctor. And it's been very, very problematic for the entire season. She seems to be impersonating David Tennant, Matt Smith. I think that's been said before I ever mentioned it. So it is a total degeneration. And this is the future of Doctor Who. I can't see anything changing, can you? Can you see this show getting better, being different? No. They're putting in the Daleks, of course, on New Year's Day. They think that might fix some of the damage. But this goes beyond deciding not to put any classic monsters in season 11. I think it's disgusting. I think every iconic show or IP, whether it's Superman or Batman or Doctor Who or Star Wars, when you've got an icon that's been going for so many years, of course, it's got a history. And you must always never be resistant to implementing that history. Yes, there needs to be a balance of your own ideas as well, of course. But you can't just turn around and say, no classic monsters this year, no arc, no story. Everything he decided to take away, which has always been ever present in Doctor Who, hurt the show, hurt this season. And I keep on telling people about this, and all people can throw at you is the defence of the ratings. Well, the ratings are not a mark of quality. So I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, and I know it's boring, but it's very important that people understand that. So this is a show with nothing to offer now. Ultimately, every IP must bring people in, must interest people, must excite people. And Doctor Who really doesn't. So who's watching Doctor Who now? Well, SJWs, the LBGT community. And they are not going to prop up a show like Doctor Who. They'll jump on it for the time being. But I wonder, after it's been off the air for over a year, will they come back? I very much doubt it. And this is the problem that they've had. They've driven away the hardcore fans. Now, that's what they wanted to do, by the way, because they don't think clearly. They don't think as intelligent business people. They think politically. They don't think tactically. That's the word I'm looking for. They don't think tactically, these people. It's all about politics. It's all about representation. So the creativity and the entertainment aspect get left at the front door. So what is the future of this show? It doesn't have a future. Not with this kind of thinking. It's basically Doctor Who's season 11 is like a flat tyre. It has no life to it. It has no air in the veins. It's got no blood circulating. There's no life to it. So what you're seeing now is the beginning of the end. It is the beginning of the end. It is dead. And the media can keep on trying to pump it up. The BBC's public relations can keep on trying to pump it up via their Doctor Who kind of social media accounts. But nobody's buying it. The only people buying it are the people who came in the season 11 premiere. And so now, very sadly, you've got this show that no longer works for a wide-ranging audience, and because the BBC focused on the wrong things. And we can keep on talking about this till we're blue in the face, but it's never going to change. This is their direction until it's dead. How long can they carry on with these type of numbers? Well, for a few more years. Look, this show will keep on hobbling along. It's been hobbling along since Russell T Davies left, and it will continue to do so. And the debates about ratings and whether it's been a success will carry on. But there's one thing that can't be argued. Creatively, it's a failure. It's a creative failure. And, you know, when I previewed, was it Resolution, which is what they're calling the New Year's Day special, and I do find it quite laughable that they're plugging this episode of Doctor Who as a festive special. It's not. You took it off Christmas Day, right, because you said you run out of ideas for Christmas theme episodes, which something that Chris Chibnall now denies because he looks stupid. This was the kind of spin they used. Well, you know, nobody really liked the Christmas episodes in the past few years. It's not about liking them or not, or whether if they were as good as the past ones that Russell T Davies gave us. The reality is the Christmas Doctor Who special was something we all looked forward to, whether we actually enjoyed the episodes wholeheartedly or not. It was an event we were quite happy to continue. But the BBC decided to take everything away from Doctor Who that made it Doctor Who. So that those of us who genuinely love the show and the character whether you've been watching it since 1963 or you've been watching it since 2005, it doesn't really matter. And this is what I said to my message to the BBC, on my video yesterday. There needs to be a balance between the classic show and the revival to bring both those people back onto the show. You've now got a new set of fans. Now that should be great, because if you add them onto the classic fans and the revival fans, you should have a big audience and a big fan base. But this is not what's happening. The BBC decided they didn't want us men watching Doctor Who anymore. No, because we're not niche enough. We're not cool enough. So they want SJWs and members of the LBGT community to clap like seals. And so basically they swallow anything and they're fed, don't they? We're more questioning, we're more critical. Doctor Who fans are very critical, but I've always felt that was a bonus for the show. That helped the show kind of evolve and get better as time went on. But unfortunately, we're not wanted anymore. We're not. We're like those guys who come to the party and like all the snobs and the rich people and everyone in the ball gowns and the suits are looking at us and saying, you're not welcome here. You're not wanted here. You're a bit low class, aren't you? And this is what kind of the older fans, even the ones who originally were fans of the revival, were looked down upon, especially the men. But what they don't understand, of course, is there's as much females as males who love classic who love the revival, but they're not interested in us because we talk too much. We're honest about how we feel. And this is the problem we have as fans. We're fighting for the soul of this show, but it's falling on deaf ears. But I'm someone who doesn't walk away from a fight. I'm someone who walks towards a fight, the harder it gets. I will not walk away from this show. I will not stop watching this show like some have. That's giving up. I know it gives them numbers, I know it makes them money, but I don't care. I want to be here. I want to be able to watch the episodes so I can critique them in a proper way. And then hopefully, if we're patient and we know when to strike, when it's at its weakest, we can save this show. There is two ways that can happen. That we keep on piling the pressure, that less and less people watch this show and buy the merchandise and buy the box sets so we can strike at the right time. Or we can convince a streaming service to take over this show and offer the BBC so much money that they can't turn it down. But one thing or the other, we've got to keep fighting. We've got to keep fighting for the soul of this show. Doctor Who is a very special thing, a very special show. The Doctor's a very special character. This is not about men, women, or ethnic minorities representing characters in this show. This is about something deeper. This is about a company that's taken something very special and stamped on it until they've crushed it. And what we've got to do is force them to bring fresh air into this franchise. That's the only way we move forward. The degeneration of Doctor Who is a thing, but we can regenerate this show if we keep on talking. There's so many great people putting attention in the right way via YouTube, via Twitter, via Facebook. We can fight. We've got attention on us, right? They know we're here and they don't like it that we're talking like this. And I tell you, when the most important time to talk about this show and be honest about this show, when it's not on the air in 2019. Keep the attention on Doctor Who, put the pressure on them while they're making this series, and put pressure on them to make an announcement in concerns to in conjunction to the future of Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, because I think that needs to be revealed next year. We need to know what's going on. My gut feeling, I think this is a way of wielding them out of the franchise, of the show. Whether that's a thing, this could carry on like this for many, many years. The reality we're going to have to face is that this could be a fight, a long fight, the long game, just like the episode in season 1 of the revival. We do have to play the long game, but we do have to keep on fighting if we want to save Doctor Who.